Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Solimar Salas, and I am the Vice President of Content, Innovation, and Outreach at the Museum of Latin American Art. My pronouns are she, her, ella, and I recognize that I live and work on the traditional and sacred lands of the Tongva, Kich, Akshuman, and Chumash, and many other indigenous groups who call these grounds home. I honor and extend my gratitude to all of the original people still living in this region. Thank you for joining us today, Wednesday, June 21st of 2023, as we begin a new session of G.R.I.T, Generating Radical Inclusion and Transformation. This series of conversations explores how grit, an attribute often given to people who overcome obstacles, can serve as a tool to build agency. With a specific focus on creative expression, G.R.I.T seeks to expand what it means to practice art for social change. Support for the interpretive programming at MOLA is provided by the Genesis Inspiration Foundation, the Miller Foundation, Dwight Stewart Youth Fund, Arts Council for Long Beach, Robert Gumbiner Foundation, and the City of Long Beach. Special thanks to the California Arts Council Arts Exposure Grant for their generous 2-year support. Today's conversation is facilitated by Griselda Suarez. She is a writer, artist, cook, and a teacher. She was born in unincorporated East Los Angeles and walked Whittier Boulevard and Brooklyn Avenue in black and white saddle shoes. She grew up in a place where her thoughts did not easily find voice. Instead, she found a pen and paper. Her hometown inspires her to investigate memories of a home space that continues to be bodiless. She believes that the arts are essential in empowering others to express their thoughts. Throughout her career, she has created programming and training dedicated to facilitating transformation and creating agency for her communities. And today's guest is Vannia Ibargüen, artist, international performer, choreographer, instructor, and artistic director of dance company VIDA. She was born in Peru and graduated from the University of Maryland with an MFA in dance, is an international performer, choreographer, and instructor of her own dance company, a dance troupe that brings contemporary dance closer to the audience by creating and performing in non-traditional spaces, incorporating multimedia to create and promote thoughtful entertainment with a social, political, and environmental message. As we begin our program, please remember to drop any questions into the Q&A and in the chat function as well at the bottom of your screen. I will be monitoring the time and responding to comments during the conversation. We will leave a time at the end also for questions as well. Griselda and Vannia, thank you for being here with us.
Gracias, Solimar. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Mola, for hosting us today on the first day of summer. Happy solstice. Vannia, bienvenida. How are you on this beautiful summer day?
Oh, great. Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you, Griselda, for the invitation. Thank you, Mola and Solimar, too.
Of course. Vannia, you were one of our professional artist fellows this last year, and you have been a grantee of the Arts Council since 2016 or 15. I had the pleasure to have one of my first artistic meetings with you as the new director of the Arts Council. So I'm so glad that as a professional artist fellow, you were able to share your dance with us. This is the background a little bit, what you did at the Billie Jean King Library. So welcome to G.R.I.T. I'm excited to share your story and your craft and your talents and skills. And on this lovely summer day, there's a big project going on today globally called the Global Water Dance. We'll talk about in a little bit. We'll talk about that project. But first, I would like you to share with us how you found your artistic voice, your creative voice. How did that start?
Yes, it was a whole process. It wasn't easy to really find something, like it was a call and then a response. Yes, I want to be a dancer. So, well, I grew up, I was born in Peru and also I grew up there. And over there, dance, arts in general, and specifically dance, is not seen as a career or something that, especially back there in the days, in the 80s, that somebody could afford or could also make a living. I mean, that's still something that is going on currently in our day. So when I was a child, I wanted to be an artist, but I never thought that it will be a career or something that I will pursue, because in my family, we're middle class and always expecting that you will be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, right? So like those kinds of careers. I started doing gymnastics when I was a child, a little one, and then over there was when my instructors saw in me that I had certain qualities, or that I really loved to dance, and that was something that was my passion by that time. So she recommended my mom to be part of the of a dance studio or some, and so I started doing ballet, and it was yeah, I mean, it was very expensive too, so we had to make, I mean, my mom was really great trying to also give in pursuing something that I really love to do. So I was able to study ballet, and then I started actually, I studied systems engineering at the beginning because my parents didn't want to help me necessarily in pursuing arts. And then, but after that, when I was already working as information technology professional, I never stopped dancing. It was kind of my, let's say, second career, but I was like, I need to actually go for it. So I really felt like there was something there calling me, like I needed to do more. Like I was doing it as a hobby or something that I could do, sneaking out between my studies and my job. And then there was a moment when I had to decide, and I say, okay, I'm going to go for it, even if it's not something that I know that is not going to be, it won't generate economically money, or, so I decided to stop, to stop my career in IT, and I decided to dive in to dance. So I was part of the ballet company there in Peru, and then I was able to get scholarships to study dance abroad, study in Cuba, and I had the support of, and by that time, of both my my parents and also my boss, because I was studying part-time, teaching part-time, and also working part-time in IT. And it was a great experience because they knew that I really wanted to do that. So actually I was able to do both things at the same time for a moment. And then I started to do only dance, so teaching dance. I worked a lot on that, teaching, performing. But it was I think, the most beautiful time in my life when I was actually diving into it. And then that's how I was able then to come to United States and study also dance, my master's in dance. And again, that was a dream come true, that I was able to do that after jumping here and there and doing many things that were not necessarily in the arts. But yeah, and that's how, I know.
Where do you teach? Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Where in Cuba did you study?
Yes, I studied at the ISA, the Instituto Superior de Arte, is the higher institute of the arts. And I studied there for 3 months. It was a scholarship from UNESCO, residency for artists. And that was the experience that opened my eyes. It's like, oh my gosh, more people doing arts and doing only this as a way of living. And I couldn't believe that you can actually breathe and live and do arts. I was so excited about that during those 3 months. I experienced so many things there, living there in Cuba and Havana.
That's great. I mean, it's so wonderful to hear that UNESCO does this kind of work for artists. I think oftentimes we think of them as conservationists, right? Preservationists, but there's also this opportunity for artists to be UNESCO artists. So you still teach, correct?
Yes.
And where do you teach right now?
I'm teaching right now at Cerritos College, and I teach, it depends what is needed, but right now I'm teaching ballet, I'm teaching Zumba, and I'm teaching also stretching and relaxation and dance appreciation.
Wow.
So, and I love my job there. It's amazing because both my boss and the students, yeah, the students, I don't know, they are so nice. It's so beautiful to see that they actually are going there because they want to experience more the arts and dance specifically. So
is there, I mean, I would imagine that in Cerritos, there's a combination, there's probably a very diverse student population there. And I can imagine that there are some Latinx students that you have. Are there some that you've met that want to be dancers and they get met with the same, maybe the same stories, or le dicen las mismas cosas que te dijeron a ti? Like, do they hear that still in their households? Is that still a struggle?
yes, I had the experience, and also I was able to share my story, and they were able also to share, because many students go there without necessarily an idea if they want to pursue dance. Like sometimes we have many students that are undecided, and then same thing, they don't think about dance as a career, and they don't think what that could be. And they love to take classes and to take dance classes, and maybe they are taking other classes and they are unsure. And then it's so lovely to see how they are finding their way, specifically those that that they have that spark in them. And yes, many of them really big Latino population there, and but also from different places, usually second generation, sometimes Filipino, sometimes Mexican, Latino, from different places. And I know how the tradition is in the houses. It's still like, like that. People, they don't see their kids going or pursuing an art career, and they want them to be successful in life, and they don't see that that's something that could be also an option. And they think that maybe dancers, you're going to be only dancing, and then your career is done after you are not able to to perform, or maybe you are not successful in or you are not able to be famous in dance, and they don't see what is the range of possibilities that they can do with that. So that's why we are there as mentors and telling students that it is possible, and if they need support also, to see what is possible, right? We are there for them.
Oh, that's great. So I want to take sorry about that. I was gonna share a video about one of the projects you work on. And so let's take a moment to share this video, and then we can talk about the Global Water Dance projects. All right, here we go.
Road in 100 locations in 5 continents. There are 4 movements being done, and so I'm going to teach them to you, and we will do them together. He speaks at the same moment, it just creates bedlam. However, if everybody moves together at the same time,
that can create a sense of closeness and community. People will have a sense of shared purpose and empowered action.
This film is about a journey, an event, a project, and about three of the women who make it happen. It is a story of local and global concerns and actions, a story about water and how we must care for it, and a story about dance, the power of dance to call us to action.
So tell us about the global water dance.
Adobe just pinged me.
Thank you for sharing the video. Yes, so Global Water Dances is a project that was born in 2008, but the first event that we did was in 2011. Global Water Dances is a project that, and also a network of people who organize this event to raise awareness about water issues around the world. And what we promote is activities in the communities and to promote both participation and community action through dance and through movement and also through video. So the idea is that one single day, locations in different parts of the world, more than 100 locations usually, we dance together. And the idea is that everybody can dance. It's not only for trained dancers, but actually if you have a body, you're able to dance. And yes, and as Marilee Hardenberg, who was the founder of this movement, say, like, usually when everybody talks at the same time, it creates kind of a little bit, there's no clarity, but when everybody dances at the same time, it creates awareness, it creates also a clear vision of what everybody wants to do. So it's a beautiful analogy when we say that we are like in a choir, and beautiful and harmonious things happen when people moved at the same time.
And so it happens close to solstice or on solstice around the world. How many countries or places participated this year?
Yes, this year there were 180 locations approximate, and we danced near the solstice, and also lately we were dancing near also the World Oceans Day that is on June 8th. So we tried to do to choose a date in between those dates, and usually it's on a Saturday. So this year it was on June 10th. Although the first time it was on June 21st on a solstice day. So yeah, it's beautiful because it's a very interesting day, although it's different for different locations. Sometimes it's solstice of, in this case here, it's summer solstice. In other places it's winter solstice. Like the first time that I celebrated in Peru in 2011, it was the winter solstice. But we were there, and the important thing here is that we dance in outdoors. We dance in a place that is close to a body of water. So we transform the space, and the idea is to do this kind of site-specific dance that, as I say, transform the space, and people are able to see the space, to see the body of water in a different way, because they remember the participation, how they participated there, and how also they saw dancers and movers doing their action there.
Okay. And how are you involved in the organization?
I am the artistic director of the organization. So I am the person of contact with different choreographers, or what we call our site leaders. So I contact different people from different countries and cities, and then they are the ones who organize their own movements in the different locations. What I do is I tell them a little bit about the Global Water Dances project, and then we share common dance, common choreography that everybody dances almost in the same way. So it's a structure of movements that, let's say, that mimics or brings the movement of water during the whole choreography. So that's what we teach, or what I teach. And then they create also their own dance based on their own local issues, or their own space or locale. And they are able to speak by themselves and to create. So we encourage also creativity. So the idea is that they are able also to speak about what is happening there with their own movements and also words. So
Okay.
yeah.
I wanted to share one of the awardees that you have. Maybe I'll play it as low volume, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about those moves if you see them on screen. One of your awardees was in Uganda. I just saw this from your, so I'm gonna play this a little low. Maybe you can tell us some of the moves that they're doing here.
Yeah, so that part, the Kampala, Uganda, that was in 2021. And in this case, they were doing their own, that's the part of the local dance. So that's, yeah, so there, what they were doing is they have different parts as far as I remember, because I need to remember 180 different locations. So they had different parts, and this was the part when they were doing with kids. They had also adults doing different presentations. So they have their own local dances, and then they had also the common dance. So they
Nice.
were the ones also that you saw at the beginning of the other video. They had another group of children, uh, only boys and girls, and then they have adults also dancing. So it was a really good water dance that they did, because they were mixing also a little bit of theater and acting and spoken word, and then they had also another version when they were dancing. And then invited also an environmental organization to talk about what were the problems that they had in, and also in Kampala. I think they had two different locations. So I remember that they had a choreography when they were talking about the absence of water, and also about how the water was polluted there. So each location speaks about a different theme about water. So how water resonates with them. So it could be that sometimes it's drought, sometimes it's too much water, abundance of water, and how that also impacts their own city or town. Sometimes there's plastic pollution in the ocean, and other times also there was another location in that was in Kenya, no, Tamale, Ghana, that they were talking about how the what they call the galamsees, the people who extract gold from their locations, how they were leaving the rivers and the water all polluted because they are using the water to clean, and then yeah, so that was their issue that they were demanding too. So what is very interesting to me for global working on global water dances is that a mix between environmental action and also arts, and how they have a crossover, but also at the same time it has a portion of health and well-being. So the idea also that many other people do is not necessarily go for so much for the environmental action, but they go for how embodying water is also something that you can do to for your own health, and that also has a value. So we in Global Water Dances, we try to also talk about that and say, yes, you are alive because you have water and you're able to drink water, and that makes us, full and alive. So let's celebrate water too. Let's celebrate that we have water in our lives and that we
Water
are
in us. We have water in us. Yes. Oh, so
exactly.
we talked about this project that you're involved in on a global sense, but you also have done it here in Long Beach in 2021 and maybe 2022. No, it was 2021. You participated in the Bridging Wellness Re-Rise, which was a mental health month, and you did
Yes.
water dance during that time.
Mhm.
What are some other ways you've brought this to Long Beach?
Yes. So the very first time that I brought it to Long Beach, because I moved in 2015, and then the first time that I did the Global Water Dances was in 2017. We do it usually every 2 years, and especially the global event. But locally also people can do it every year. So that's something that we promote. So in 2017 we did it by the beach, and that was our first time, and I was very thankful for the Arts Council of Long Beach also for support us from there when we were just starting here. And so when we were there, uh, we had some support from think yes, we had live music, we have different actions, but I feel like in 2019, when we did it in 2019, that's when we had the most environmental action. We had Algalita, which is an organization that creates awareness about water pollution through plastic pollution specifically, because
Captain Charlie
plastic.
Moore.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
That's great.
He was the
If
one.
anyone out there doesn't know Captain Charlie Moore, Naglita, Captain Charlie Moore is the person who helped let us know that there was a huge garbage patch in the ocean. He found this enormous garbage patch of plastic all melded together, and he does great work in the community. Oh, wonderful. That's great.
Yes, yes. To me, it was a total aha moment because I mean, I knew about the idea of the garbage patch of the gyres and how this thing is living there in our Pacific Ocean, between the oceans. And but then when I moved here to Long Beach, I had no idea that he is a Long Beach neighbor. And when I was investigating and researching more about his organization, I was deeply honored to have him there too. So he spoke to the people about it, and that's something that also we put on our website. So that's also the idea that people from a different location from Europe or from Africa can also know about what is happening here. It's like, look, this is happening here, and then we had also a couple of other organizations. IMAC is the organization for of a community-driven in San Pedro, that they were doing some actions also about um, uh, keeping the ocean clean. Um, and then we had yes, we had another organization that was about I forgot the name right now, but it's fighting against dropping the butts of the cigarettes on the beach, because they do that collection too, and making awareness also about how bad it's actually to, not only for your health but also for the environment to yes, fumar, right? No, the word didn't come, but yeah. So and along with that, we had the participation also of kids, of students from Long Beach uh, Elementary School, and then and also that was the first time that we were able to invite many dance companies from Long Beach, because also my interest was like, okay, let's actually showcase that we have in Long Beach dance companies that are here working, and they usually show their work in LA or in Irvine, Orange County, and different places. But here we have also professional dancers and dance companies that are, that need to be also known. And I was like, why not? Let's invite them. So we had four dance companies joining us on that year. And this year that we just did, also we invited some of those companies and new companies that were able to join us.
Well, I know that I mean, that demonstrates your work as a dance advocate. You definitely want to encourage our Arts Council grantees to connect with you. You always talk about dance companies, and collaborating with you. If there are organizations out there, be it museums or smaller, like how do you even begin collaborating with the dancer? Like, what do people need to know to start collaborating with the dancer? What do you need to be successful?
That's an amazing question. So, yes, so there are many ways to actually work with a dancer. It depends also what are their needs. So the idea of collaboration is try to enhance the vision and mission of each one of the people who are part of this partnership. So we as dancers, especially those of us who work also in site-specific dance, meaning that we go to a place and we sort of analyze the space and then decide, oh, what we can do here, different to, okay, we have a stage and we know that we need to fill the stage and do different choreographies that is going to be amazing with lighting, and that's something that I love doing, and it's my passion, obviously, to dance on a space that is meant to be for dance. But also, as dancers, we are able to adapt and to actually go to a place, meaning a museum, or I was talking also with, at some point when we were scouting, where can we do our global water dances, by example. We were going to the Cerritos. Uh, yeah, to the I forgot the name of the not Cerritos College, the
The Performing Arts Center?
historic.
Rancho
Sorry,
Cerritos. Rancho Cerritos?
Rancho. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. And one of my ideas also, that actually we were talking about, that to do a dance there at the Rancho Cerritos, and that will be a beautiful idea of actually do a collaboration, and that's something that we are looking forward to do maybe next time, because they are finishing their project about water there, and we are pending conversation about it. But yes, the idea is to highlight, or to, as in global water dances, we are highlighting what are the issues with water. So it's highlighting what is happening in the organization, or what would you like to offer to your audience. So we tell that not with words, but with dance. We can use words, of course, but the idea is to fill the space with movement, and in that way, the audience are going to be able to feel something like what we did at the library. Yes, I think Solimar said what we did at the library there behind Griselda. We're activating people, and we don't need a lot of technical resources. We could, of course, yes, we could have the moon. We could have, yeah, we could have different stuff. But also we adapt. Like in that time, I think the only thing that I had was draperies and music. And then we were activating the community that went there by asking them if they wanted to do a dance with us. So it was really simple movements that we did. But also, I mean, we don't need to make people dance. Also we can as dancers offer a performance, and then people will feel moved. But we love to move people too, so that's why sometimes I like to yeah, to see if they would like to join us, because as I said, if you have a body, you can dance. If you don't dance, it's because you don't want to.
That's true. Well,
But everybody can dance.
everyone can dance. Everyone can cook. Everyone can dance. There you go.
Exactly.
So as you move forward in, your collaborations and your advocacy to have more dance in Long Beach, I know that's really important for you too. What can how can people support dance? And something I wanted to ask you and I didn't earlier is I love dance. I love going to dance recitals, but not everyone knows where that happens or how to do it and all that stuff. What kind of dance do you perform? What is your medium, right? Your discipline within the within the dance field? What kind of dance do you do, and how do people go out and support dance?
Hmm. Yes, I particularly, what I define is that I do contemporary dance. I prefer to say that because it's a broader term and allows me to move from one genre to the other. I I actually have a whole performance about it, about how people would like to put you in a box and say, okay, you're a ballet dancer, you are a jazz dancer, you are a tap dancer, and yes, I say that maybe my home is ballet because that's how I started with dance, but I love contemporary dance and I feel more comfortable by saying that I'm a contemporary dancer. And contemporary dance is an umbrella term that uses all the different dances and influences, by meaning folk dance, modern dance, jazz, etc., etc. I do also folk dances from Peru, and actually, I invited a Peruvian dancer that I met here in Mola. Actually, they organized an event because of the African diaspora a few months ago, and they invited Nadia Calmet, my compatriota from Peru, and that's how we connected. We knew each other like okay online, and we were following each other, but we never get together. And now that I saw her at that time at Mola, we make the connection, and then I invited her to be part of the Global Water Dances. So she did a beautiful dance, a Yemaya inspired dance with Afro-Peruvian instruments, and she played the cajita, cajon, and music. It was really beautiful. So I hope that that's the beginning of our collaborations. And going back a little bit to your question about, yes, I do contemporary dance. How to support, you say?
Yes, so we know that people can come to Mola and see dance, right? That was
Yes.
one of the, I love when that festival happens. There's great dance. And thank you, Solimar. Yes, there is also the Long Beach Cultural Dance Festival this Sunday at Mola, free to the public and sponsored by the Arts Council, supported by Mola. Yes, there's also the first ever Long Beach Cultural Dance Festival this Sunday. Thank you for reminding us. So Mola is a great place, but where else can people go? I know Mola does a great job, but where else can people go?
Yes. Well, here, I know I would love to actually do that too, to create a space where you can go and say, okay, yes, I could go to see dance here, right? Like click, 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 like easily available. Um, because I was part of the National Dance Council in Peru, and we used to do that. Like, okay, so this is like the hub where you can go specifically for dance. And then we have the Arts Council of Long Beach, and people can go there also and search for the artists that are,
Yeah, but you make a
as
good
it's
point.
happening.
I don't know if you can click on dance. That's a good point. Like, could we have a dance section? Yeah, thank you for bringing that up on our.
Yes, yes. Yes, and I think that people can check that. I know there is a performance in dance, and there is a really good amount of people who are doing dance in Long Beach too. It's mostly independently, because I feel like many people who are dancing up there and doing things in LA are actually Long Beach people. Like, they are living here and going there. So that's part also of my, ongoing, like, I'm trying to do that. Like, yes, I know, and people tell me to, yes, if you want to do something, you need to go to LA. I know, but I would like to see how we are going to be able to actually give Long Beach people, Long Beach audience, and Long Beach places to, to perform. Um, I know that it's happening. It's happening little by little. I mean, we have amazing dance programs here in Long Beach, in Cali State Long Beach. We have um, a dance program, and uh, and there are many studios too, that private studios, and the produce, let's say, dancers. But what we would like to see is that, like, where people can go and see, hey, what's happening about dance in Long Beach, um, to do the follow up, right? What is happening after those students are graduating? Where are
True.
they going?
Yeah.
So every time that is happening, I try to promote it through my social media. It's like, this is happening,
We
and
we have other grantees. We also have the South Coast Dance Alliance as one of our grantees. Pony Box Theater is also one of our grantees. So we have our love for dance. Dance is an important, historically we have funded dance at the Arts Council. So I mean, you got me thinking. I think we could figure out ways to highlight dance in our newsletters, or if there's ever like a National Dance Month, if that happens, let me know, and we can like highlight it and feature it. We always have
perfect.
dance at our events, so you definitely have an advocate and supporter on me, because again, it's one of my favorite art forms. I love going to dance recitals. So we're getting close to the end here. So for our audience, if you have any questions, we already have one. Wow, we have one in the Q&A, I think. Yes, okay. So oh, wonderful. It's one of our board members, actually, our current president of the Arts Council for Long Beach Board, Greg Johnson. And his question is, oh, if you can talk about drumming, the drum, in regards to the importance of drums in dance, in your musical expression for dance.
Mhm. Great. Yes. Oh, yes, he was, yeah, drums as a musical expression. Yes, I feel like music in general is very important for dance, even if there are also many dance advocates that say dance itself needs to be alive without any other art form. I feel like music is the closest art form that dance needs, right? And I heard something very beautiful once, like talking about the heartbeat, and how the heartbeat is actually a form of drumming, and and it gives you the, this sensation of having a rhythm. So the rhythm is within us, within if we take, yes, one is the heartbeat, the other is the fluid that we have in our body. Our whole system also is made for us to be, yeah, movable. So between fluidity, mobility, and stability, that's how dance happens. So in terms of drumming, I feel like drums are very related to earth. So the drumming, uh, every music that is, yeah, I'm trying to find the term, like, specifically, but if it won't
Oh,
come, I will
say
stay with
it
drum.
in Spanish. If it comes in Spanish, it's all good.
Yeah, percusión, there we go. Percussion rhythms, always, tapping, making sounds with feet, making sounds with your body. That's part of our connection with earth. Sometimes we hear music also like the violin, and sometimes we feel connected with our heart. Like I feel like every note that is kind of the instrument, if it's something like more like cuerdas, right? I feel like that's more connected to the heart. And then when we hear like, I feel like wind music, like, woo, you know, instrumentos de viento, like music instruments that are wind, I feel like it's more connected with this. I'm not sure if I heard that somewhere or is that only my theory, but I feel like all the music is connected with the body. So I feel like drums is like very connected with earth, and it's like the first thing that you hear. Also little kids are connected with that because we start walking and creeping on the floor. So our first connection with, you know, of course, is our, you know, kind of the parenting thing, the mother and the connection with the mother. But then you are on the ground, so drumming, and you see the kids, you know, clapping, all that percussion. It's very relatable with dance. So that's something that is in our body movement. Um, and I saw a little reference there to Vanuatu. We have a music, the Vanuatu island music that is water percussion. That water percussion is not from Peru, just in case. That's in Vanuatu. That's by Oceania. So it's uh, I love when I heard about it. I didn't know because in 2019, 2011, I was just a, a side leader. I wasn't part of the steering committee of the Global Water Dances, but they sent us this music that was made of percussion of water. So the tradition there in Vanuatu Island is that when they have a rite of passage, or they are saying hello to all the incoming people that are visiting, they do this, and it's usually women that do the percussion in the water, and it's an amazing thing. So we have a link in our globalwaterdances.org site that takes you to one example of that,
Great.
and it's amazing.
Me encanta. Me encantó. I can't even, I'm kind of floored with your, I've always seen how like the kind of instrument and how it impacts the body, but now the connection of the instrument, like the flute, when you said it's in the head, because a lot of the breath comes to the head, right? When you're playing wind and you have to hold it in your head to be able to play the instrument. And how that can also impact dance. I just love how you explained that. It is so powerful. There are two more questions. And so we have the next question. What specifically happened for you that made you know that you could move to a career in dance and quit your day job? What would you say to other dancers of how they can also sustain a career? What is there something that specifically happened?
Ooh. Where let's see, I think by that time I was very scared to do the move because it was from a place of not knowing if I will be successful. You know, well, however we want to say successful means, right? What is success? But if I will make it or not. But I think the support of, yeah, like I was feeling that I was also older enough to do it. Like at the beginning, I was a little, I don't know if I can do it or not. Um, the support of my boss too, my actual boss. He was like, we know that, I mean, it was funny because by that time I always invite my friends, hey, go and see my performance, you know. And he was like, you really love that. Yeah, I know you are a great professional, but if you love that, why not give it a chance? By that time, also my boyfriend was like, "Yeah, you should do this." So it was a little bit of the, you know, the support of my environment that gave me a little bit of, "Yes, you can do it," and also, yes, my mom, who I always, yeah, it's like, yeah,
You know,
she's amazing.
you,
So,
you, you do such a great
yeah.
job of inviting your community to your shows and letting everyone know. So by doing that, you created the support to let you know, like, go do it, hazlo, follow the dream,
Yeah,
that's great.
exactly. Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All
So
my coworkers and my boss knew that I love to do it. So it was like, it was a surprise, of course, like what? But at the same time, it was like, okay, yes, do it. And I was like, if I don't do it now, when? Yeah.
you're gonna do it now when, yes. Um, so if anyone out there, always invite your friends and family to your performances, to your readings, to your exhibitions. And you build that support for yourself. If this is something that you love and really want to do it all your life, invite everyone to everything. Okay, so the next question is, I know you believe in dance as a very accessible, community-oriented tool, right? It can be very empowering when you bring people together. How about our communities with different abilities? How can our communities and our grantees or our partners that work with people of various abilities, how can they participate in dance?
Hmm. Yes, yes. Um, yes, as I said, dance is for everyone. I know that I also have been in an environment when, specifically ballet, sometimes dance is only for the ones who are gifted. And specifically, if you have a specific body type, if you have a specific, flexibility or whatever, this is the model. So,
The Rockettes.
yeah, exactly. You need to be specifically like that, and that's very harmful. Like I think when I grew up, I felt that harmful environment that people maybe will be sick because they didn't want to eat because they will be overweight, or they will be or they need to be whiter, or they need to be skinner or taller, or like trying to fit in a specific model. If you had other abilities, you were not able maybe to do it. So I feel like dance is for everyone, and the working with the global water dances community made me also be aware of the diversity and the vastness and the many opportunities that dance can give to the community, meaning different constitutions, different colors, different abilities, and yes, specifically in the work that we do at Water Dances, we encourage those differences. So that's something that is valuable. So if you see other performances in different places, you're going to see that people who are senior members, maybe, like beautiful dancers, touching dancers from members of our senior community, and also members who are in wheelchairs, people who are they don't see and they are guided, or they are feeling, and they are there are ways to complement and also to be part of the community in the difference. So I feel like yes, different abilities are encouraged in dance, and not necessarily everybody knows that, or not necessarily every environment promotes that. But I feel like little by little we are making the change, and we are you're going to see like different places where that's celebrated and not diminished. Yeah.
It's very true that like any art form, there are those art forms that said, oh, we're elite art forms, right? And I mentioned the Rockettes because I have a lot of close friends that are dancers, made several auditions into the Rockettes, and then she was, I think, off by half an inch. They're very precise on their bodies for the Rockettes, and she was off by half an inch, and they're like, nope, sorry, so it's true, the dance community and some dance circles can be very specific and exclusionary when it comes to body types. But I also, something that I love about dancers, and you did it the entire time, this was something that I was actually very excited about for this conversation, your expression with your hands, right? So like just when in the first sentence, you did something like this, and then just now you're like doing all, I love it. I love when people bounce with their hands. I see dancers a lot.
Yes, that
Well,
help us
yeah,
communicate.
you were just doing I was like, oh, I love it. So, because I think often you're taught in like a professional setting or in like socialization to like keep your hands down, right? And as a Chicana, as a Latina, first of all, my family talks a lot with their hands, but then dancers take it to a whole new level, I think. So
Yes, and yeah, I must add that actually that's something that helps me too because I when I came here, my English was very basic and still struggling with sometimes like that word, but expressing with my hands and with my facial that helps me to communicate with others and that helps me also to be understood because sometimes it's like, okay, can I communicate with others if maybe I cannot find the words? So people get more involved when you are physically and bodily, it's something that naturally comes to me because that's the way how I think grew up dancing and moving while I'm talking.
well,
Yeah.
Vania, thank you so much. Muchas gracias por todo. I'm going to invite Solimar back in to join us as we close out this session of G.R.I.T. And gracias. This was wonderful. Solimar, any thoughts?
No, thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your knowledge, and just a little bit more about what you do and how you impact at a greater level. I loved hearing that you met Nadia here. I think that's what we strive to do here at MOLA, create those opportunities and connections. We may not all know everything that happens, but this is fantastic. Again, really, really satisfied. So on that note, again, thank you, Vania, for your time today. Thank you, Griselda, as always, for just, again, sharing everything. Okay, it's crazy. We look forward to our next G.R.I.T session. This is for everybody else as well. And we invite you to join in. We have a very robust third quarter building up, and this year's a Latinx heritage, and we are still celebrating Pride. So there's still more to come.
Pride.
¿Verdad? Happy Pride. It's June, but
Happy
Long Beach is
Pride.
celebrating in August this year.
Yes.
So I just take it so that it's like the whole month, the whole summer.
Yes, yes.
There we go.
And then
See?
see you. Hopefully you can go by this Sunday. It's so wonderful to
See,
have the first ever.
We'll have the Long Beach Cultural Dance Festival, and we'll also have our first drag storyteller who will be joining us this Sunday at 1, and that's a free to the public event. So a lot of things happening here. Again, Vania, thank you so much for being part of our little village, great village, and we hope to keep growing. Hope to see you soon in person, Griselda as well. And everybody, thank you for joining us today.